So I was missing two things. I was missing structure for the actual coaching session, and I was missing how to enroll new clients and how to find new clients and what to do in the coaching session. The NLP program really helped me out a lot. Now I create a transformation in every single session, and that was something I was really insecure about, and I
Yeah.
was stubborn to admit before.
So many coaches have the passion and calling from within to work with clients full time. But unfortunately, what stops most of them is the lack of knowledge of how to get to the root cause of their clients' problems and what to do once they get there. Haas used to struggle with this until he signed up for my spiritual NLP online training, which gave him 18 different transformational techniques, which frees him from feeling stress, worry, or doubt that anything that surrounds a coaching session, and allows him to provide transformation in every single coaching session. That's incredible. Let's hear what Haas has to say. Welcome, Haas. This is awesome. I'm really glad to meet with you and hear a little bit and feature a little bit about your story and your experience with the Confident Coach Blueprint and what you're doing in your world, in your life, and in your business. So just kind of get right into it. Can you just tell me and share with us, like, how did you originally find me?
All right. Well, thanks for welcoming me, Jeremiah. I'm very excited to talk with you today. I originally found you about, I think, 2 years ago on YouTube. I was becoming a life coach and I tried to better my skills and I heard of NLP. So I typed NLP in YouTube and your video was one of the top ones. You had a seminar, you were coaching people or teaching, and it blew me away because you had a demonstration with a person from the crowd. It was really cool. So I started to watch more videos on your YouTube channel, and then I found a link to your website, and I started studying a course called Mental Magic, the Foundation of NLP, which was super cool. And then about 6 months later or so, or like maybe 3 months later, I actually called your business because I wanted to be coached, but I got the voicemail, so I left the voicemail, and then you emailed me back. But I was kind of like, life was happening.
Yeah.
Then this year we reconnected. You actually called me back, and you're like, "Yeah, I got your voice message." You followed back with my request initially, and we started making a couple YouTube videos, and then you coached me on YouTube, which was amazing. That was like I leveled up big time in that coaching session. You already know that. And yeah, and then I signed up for your course, for your NLP course. That was huge for me. And then I knew I was determined to become a life coach. I even told you in a text message, I want to become a master life coach within the next 10 years. And I wanted to follow in your footsteps. And then I signed up for the Confident Coach Blueprint because that was just the next logical step. And while I have other mentors, what I found unique about you, Jeremiah, is you are primarily a life coach. Other mentors were more like influencers. Sorry about that. They were more like influencers. And really the approach was not, there was a bit of disconnect. But
Mm.
with you, it was like, okay, we're talking about the same thing. Like, I'm not just an influencer, I'm actually a life coach first. And then if I want to be an influencer, that's something that can help. And totally different approaches. So, and then I noticed also, I'm kind of rambling here, but I think it's valuable stuff. When I started to reach out to people with the influencer approach, it also has this little bit of um, kind of like the mentality of know your worth and like be aggressive. You're trying to enroll people in your services, and that I quickly knew that that's not going to work because what I realized is people coming to me with they put their hearts on their hands and they're like, I have this problem and I have this problem. And I knew I had to be more heart-centered, more conscious, more spiritual in my approach. It's not just, it's not just I'm selling merchandise. It's not merchandise.
Right.
And I knew that you can help me with that. I knew that you can bridge that gap. And what I realized after enrolling in the Confident Coach Blueprint is that, yes, you actually have a scientific approach to not only building a business and making good money and making good living and having a good life, but also serving people from the heart and helping people from the heart and enrolling people into your services from the heart. So that was huge for me, and I'm so grateful to have came across that.
Yeah, like I appreciate you sharing that. Like what I learned is, like I said, I kind of just share with people and students and people on YouTube that, I started coaching before the internet, and not really the internet was around, but nobody was using the internet. And the whole influencer thing, that's just something that's new, and I don't know if it's going to be a fad. I mean, it makes sense that there's people that are doing really great things or really successful things, and to find kind of like scientifically, hey, I do this, you should do this too. Or like for me, like I take supplements, and if I share people, which I do with my clients, like they take supplements, then they're actually, their brain functions better, their like microbiomes and their gut, it's just really important things. But a lot of it is like the whole, I don't know if it's like Michael Jordan and what is it, drinking a big Coca-Cola or eating a Big Mac. It's like, he doesn't do that before the games. You know what I mean? Maybe he does it every once in a while, but just the whole thing, like Mountain Dew or whatever, even like Gatorade. Like I found out that the like in on the professional football teams, so they have, like, let's just say on the sidelines they have 20 those 5 gallon things of those plastic things of Gatorade, and only one of them has Gatorade, 19
Mm,
of them have water. And so
okay.
there's just
Oh,
all kinds of different things about like influencers and like media and what's real. And yeah, coming from an influencer trying to develop skills, that would be really, really harder. And sometimes the skill set of an influencer just influencing, but what are you influencing? What kind of life experiencing? Like, what have you been through? And most of them, haven't. And so the opposite of actually creating some value and have coaching, and then sharing those things what works, it's just so much better. It's what we do, it's what we teach, and 100%. That's what we're in alignment with that too.
yeah.
Perfect. Can you tell me a little bit, share a little bit, Haas, about kind of what were some of the things you were struggling with before we started working together?
Yes, I was struggling finding new clients. So my clients were either peers or friends or family members, which was cool. I got a lot of repetitions, I got a lot of experience, and then um, I got certified from ICF, and then I started coaching co-coaches, which was very cool. But I still didn't have, so I was missing two things, but I know that because hindsight is 2020. I was missing structure for the actual coaching session. And I was missing how to enroll new clients and how to find new clients and what to do in the coaching session. The NLP program really helped me out a lot. Now I create a transformation in every single session. And that was something I was really insecure about. And I
Yeah,
was stubborn to admit before
yeah,
that, because also I was mixing a lot of mentoring previously in my coaching. And in mentoring, sometimes things resonate, sometimes things click, and sometimes people are just not on the same frequency, or maybe I'm using different words than what they need to hear. So when I would think about enrolling new clients, I'll be like, what if they don't have a transformation the first session? They're not going to come back. They're not like, I want to serve them. But the NLP made 100% sure that every single session I create a huge transformation. It's undeniable. And the session feels, it has a beginning, it has an end, and it feels amazing. I feel good, the client feels good. And then with the Confident Coach Blueprint, I was missing enrolling new clients. Like at some point, as a business owner, as a professional, I'll have
yeah,
to coach people other than my friends and my co-coaches and my family members. And that's what I've been doing. The last 2 months, I've coached probably officially more than 10 people. And unofficially, I've helped more than, I don't know, probably 20, 30 people. Um, and it's just with the Confident Coach Blueprint. I have the science, the methodology of how to approach people and help them and let them know I'm here to help and not coming off as salesy or pushy or aggressive or like, hey, whatever. Um, yeah. So I was missing these two things and I didn't know that I was missing them, but I knew I was kind of lost. Like I was thinking before we talked, a good analogy is college. So, for example, I studied architecture and everything was, the path was clear. You're going to graduate, you're going to write a resume, and you're going to apply to jobs on LinkedIn, and people are going to call you, and then you're going to get hired and you're going to get paycheck every 2 weeks. And that's the path.
Mhm.
In life coaching, we are just thrown in the pool without any plan.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's what I was like, oh, like so many different ideas that I alluded to before. But with what you offer, okay, here is the path. You start here and then you do this. After you do this, you're going to be able to do this. And after you accomplish this, you're going to have the leverage to actually do this. So it makes so much sense. Now I just have to follow the steps.
100%. That's well said. And then when you were working with the co-students and your friends and family, was that just practice or was that like paid? Was that more complimentary?
So in a way, some of my friends would pay to support me and because they appreciated the value they were getting. Um, but some wouldn't, and I wouldn't ask because I'm also practicing and I appreciate them helping me get my repetitions in. And with the co-coaches, people can think about it different ways because they're coaching me and I'm coaching them.
Yeah.
So if I'm paying them, they're paying me, and it comes out to even. So that was how it is really.
Perfect. Kind of like trade. Yeah.
Right. But I was told also by a mentor as well as you that you're not going to be a millionaire coaching your friends and co-coaches.
No, it's not possible to start a coaching business and just, okay, I'm going to coach all my family and all of a sudden they're going to give me money and I'm going to coach my friends. It's like, well, then, I mean, it might change the relationship quite a bit and it changes the dynamic. Can you imagine if, all your friends were saying like, well, I'm a realtor, I have to buy, you have to buy a house for me now and I'm a plumber, you have to do, even if I'm not a good one, even if I'm not
Right.
licensed, you still have to do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just kind of like, relationships and boundaries and things like that. But yeah, it's good for practice and help, but it's never gonna build a business from friends and family. It's gonna build it from ideal clients.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And now that I have clients, when I'm conversating or coaching with their permission, my friends and family, because I've studied the NLP and because I've done deep work on myself, I can really help them a lot more now because really the NLP course was transformational for me. It was so needed. I even mentioned last week, like, I don't know how I didn't have this before.
Yeah, and there's a part of me that feels like I don't know how anybody in the world doesn't have it because I feel the exact same way that, I don't know. Like I said, my experience was before I went in 2004 when I went through my original coaching training of NLP. I was coaching before that, but once I got that NLP hypnotherapy, it felt like the Wizard of Oz where my life, and I didn't know it, felt black and white. It felt black and white, and then maybe kind of the house, got retransplanted into a different place, magical land, and there's color, and everything, and that's what it felt like when I received my training, which is like the color represented. I could see almost like see people's language. I can understand what they're saying. I can read their body language without them saying anything, but they are saying things through their body language. I understand how they put a meaning to something. I understand how if I communicate for something that doesn't work, I can say it differently that makes it work. And it's just like the misunderstandings went down dramatically. The conflicts between relationships, the rapport went up, what is it, just in synergy and camaraderie in every relationship. And it's just like I don't understand why this wasn't taught in school. That's why I created a school to teach it. But 100% I get it. But I also, from doing this for so long, working with so many thousands of people, I know not everybody wants that. Like not everybody wants personal growth and development. People are in their own comfort zones, and you have to get to level up. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to want success more than comfortability to get to that next level. And for every single one of us at every single level. And so not everybody really wants to do that work. So, but for the ones that do, like yourself and like myself, it's just like, absolutely. It's just how did I function? Because this is how the mind works. This is how relationships work. This is how communication works. And it only gets better and better. It can get more refined, and there's actually even more trainings too to come.
Yeah, 100%. And also to play off of that point, so I knew I needed a lot of healing before, like I was unsure, should I start with the Confident Coach Blueprint or NLP? But something deep within told me I actually need the NLP because I myself require healing. And once I started that healing, it's just I become an upgraded person every week. I'm like a different person. I forget who I used to be. And what I mean by that is that I have no ideas I have access to no ideas and more possibilities that I didn't have access to before because I was weighed down internally or spiritually or emotionally with whatever I was not letting go of and unconscious of.
Absolutely. If you would have done the CCB path right away, before that, having that transformational training, it would have been more of an influencer and like, hey, I got this training and I'm going to speak about like, here's how to get more clients. But then what do I do? Like, that's like such a big part of the confidence part is the like, it's transformational training. Like, if person doesn't know how to elicit the root cause and what to do within a coaching session, like forget about it. Like, what are we even doing here? Then it's general life coaching, which is almost like a football coach. It's like, a general football coach. How do I get better, coach? Go out there and tackle, block, pass, run. That's not great coaching. That's just words.
Yeah.
It's just the coach is you want to get yourself in this position and think about the like actual coaching. So general coaching is like a life coach. Think positive thoughts. Let's do goal settings. I'll just check in with you later. That I mean, there's all different kinds, but for people that really want to make a difference, that's not going to cut it. That's a part of it. It's a very small, that's like 5% of what we do. Goal
Mhm.
setting, positive thinking, things like that. There's so much more like structure, strategy, getting to root causes, timeline there, all kinds of stuff like that. But if people were so that they need that confidence, every coach needs that confidence. They need that step by step blueprint, which is a confident coach blueprint. They need that mentoring. People, we need mentors. I needed mentors to get to where I'm at. I continue to. And we just need that somebody who's been through it and is happy. It's like for the mentoring, it's not only have they done it, but they actually are super happy and they want it for the other person because some mentors don't. Some mentors it's all about the mentor and not about the student, and it should be mostly about the student. And then actually the repetitions, but how can you do the repetitions if you don't have the training or if you don't know if you're doing it correctly? You can, but that's why a lot of coaches, they go downhill really quick, that they become one of the 95 percenters. The 95 percenters, is about 95% of people go through life coaching training, quit within the first 18 months because they don't have the confidence, because they don't have repetitions, because they don't have the mentoring, because they don't know what to do, because they don't have the training. Pardon me. And yeah, we completely alleviate all of that. And so if you would have done the CCB first without that transformational training, it would have been more the influencer thing. But to work on yourself first, that's what's so brilliant is it's all like high level coaching comes with repetitions over time. And you can't cheat it, but you can go efficient path, which is what we offer. But it's like you solved as a coach more of your own puzzle in your life. And it's easier to help other people. It's basically being like a really smart math student that you're the top of the class and you can help other people solve their problem. That's easier for you. That's really the really great metaphor.
Mm.
And coaches or therapists, when they go and they receive training but they don't work on themselves, it just limits it. It's the same thing for any kind of business too. So that's awesome
Yeah.
that you chose it and followed that intuition. And my question is, what caused you to choose to team up and work with me and my style of coaching to help you, build your business and get to becoming that full-time master coach?
Yeah. Um, so I guess the same thing I alluded to is just I noticed you were heart-centered, you were conscious, you included spirituality. It wasn't just um there was no ego in it really. Um, there wasn't, yeah, like humility. You were serving, I felt it felt natural. Um, it wasn't like, hey, are you committed to changing your life? Or are you not that kind of person? Like it didn't have this disconnected masculine or this aggression or this pushy sales methodology. Which where you either make people feel bad that they didn't enroll or feel good that they joined your team. No, with you it was very natural. And then knowing your success and following you for um, if many months or a couple of years, I was like, okay, I actually want to be that person. And I don't want my potential clients to feel bad that they didn't enroll or to feel good that they enrolled with me because I created this kind of vibe. No, I actually want to have a genuine human connection like you did with me and build a thriving business.
100%. And that's what I see. Like that's why we do things differently and we do things authentically in terms of I see that so common, Haas, where the people that sell their programs, it's like they're like a dime a dozen. There's so many that they do the same kind of like game strategy, like game book kind of a thing, playbook, which is, try to find the pain point of the potential student or potential client, and then I guess kind of exploit it. It's just like, well, you have this pain, and if you don't do this, it's because do you even want it bad enough, and all this stuff, and it's just like it's almost like finding the pain point and pushing on it. And we kind of do the opposite. We do want to find the pain point because we ask really good questions like what's if you don't really, and we know the answer, but we get people say it individually, but if you don't get to go on and become a full-time coach, like we understand it's to me it's the most painful thing is knowing what your life's purpose is or having a really good idea but not being able to have the tools or the plan or the support how to do it. That there's nothing more painful for who we do this for. And so instead of like pushing on that pain, we actually build value and say, look, this is what I've done. Here's some step by step. Here's some free resources and things like that. But it's just like to really like extend a hand instead of like pushing on the button, extend a hand like, look, we can help you, we can set you up with this. And it's really about building value. And I like that. And the reason why that's important, and I bring that up, is because in a way it's kind of like an abusive relationship. It's like if a person gets in an abusive relationship and they eventually have kids, they're going to teach that to their kids. If a coach goes into one of these programs where they're business coaches, which probably aren't even coaches, actually, they've never worked with people in transformational work, and they're kind of how they enroll the student, they want the student to enroll their student or their clients with that too. And it's kind of like paying it forward in a not a good way.
Mhm.
It's like pressuring people because you've been pressured kind of a thing, but that's not what we do. That's not who this is for. That's not who's resonated with it. It's all about heart centered. It's all about actually really, really helping people. And if you do that, it's very rare. And if you're actually doing that, which you are, you're going to find so much attractiveness of your ideal client. And that's just the difference that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the other alternative is like coaches fighting over clients, and which doesn't make any sense because you're only meant to serve who you're meant to serve. And the better you solve your own puzzle, that quickly attracts the people you're going to serve, which means you help more of them, which they're going to refer more people to you, which means your business is going to grow, your reach is going to grow organically, authentically, and divinely guided.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what do you feel like is the most valuable resources that you've learned so far that received by working with me?
Um, I would say what comes to mind right now is that spirituality is not woo-woo. It's actually the most practical thing. So many people disconnect from spirituality when they're trying to make money or build a business, but actually it should be the foundation for building your business. It should be the support. It should be everything. And that is more fulfilling. And that is something that I always wanted to connect these two things. And with you, I found that it became easier for me to actually connect the two. Um, Yeah.
That's great. That's well said. Where do you feel like you would be right now if we hadn't met and hadn't started working together? Like, where would your path be?
My path would be shifting a few angles to a different direction, which I think would be just me being a little bit frustrated and trying to enroll clients in a little bit of an aggressive way, and which means they will not be lifelong clients, which means I'm not really building a business. I'm trying to make a quick buck.
Mhm.
And while that may work for people, but my personality and who I am, I know that's not going to work for me. Even if I'm able to make it for a few months, I'm not going to be able to sustain it. I had to really connect that spiritual essence to what I'm doing, not just do something because I have the charisma or I'm good at sales and I can create the mousetrap and enroll people.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's all about authenticity, which is a skill that needs to be developed, and you have to be around authentic people, generally authentic people, to learn how to do that. It's all about transparency. It's all about, the vulnerability. It's all about the strength. It's all about like serving our fulfilling our purpose. But we need each other. There was a really interesting story that I was told when I went to church camp in elementary time period. And there was this place. So I grew up in Minnesota, and there was this place in Wisconsin called Lake Wapogasset. So I always remember the name Wapo, and we call it Wapo, Lake Wapo, but Wapogasset. I don't know where the name came from, probably a native name.
Mm,
And it was a really, really cool place. And they like, so you get like, the parents would drop you off, and then you're there for a week. And so they give you like this, it's called a canteen, where it's like they have, I remember,
right.
suckers and all kinds of fun stuff you can buy, and it's like 20 buck credit, and I felt so rich. It's like fifth, sixth grade. And the first thing you do though is you got to like put your stuff down, and then they're going to assign you to like a cabin and a bunk, and you have to tread water for 5 minutes. So you go in, and then because they need to know, because you're going to be swimming, so you go out
Mm,
and you tread water for 5 minutes. You get, let's just say, a green band, and if you can't, then that means you can kind of do all the water activities. And if not, maybe it's yellow, you have to go behind the line, and then finally get
yeah.
into the bunk. And it was great. It was just fun, and it was just really, really neat. And they did, this was a Lutheran camp, and they did God, and it was about Jesus, they did it in a really cool way. Like we would sing songs, and then just kind of like yell at this, like this one song. It's really cool. It's called "The Blind Man Sat by the Road as He Cried," and it was just this song that I learned here. And at the end, it's like you would yell Jesus, and it would like reverberate all the way to the end of the lake, and then it would come back, and it was just so powerful. But one time they told us a story about, there was this boy who had a wish, and he was like praying at night before he went to bed, and he had this wish, and the wish was, this angel came, I guess, to his window and says, I'm going to grant you a wish. And he says,
Mm,
what do you want? And the little boy said, I want you to show me what heaven, and I want you to show me what hell looks like. And he said,
mm,
very well. And then so the angel kind of swooped up the boy and went to hell first. And it's almost like went up to like the window of hell, so to speak. And what this angel showed this boy was this, it was inside, and there was this long, like endless basically table, or how many
mm,
ever people or souls were there. So there's this wooden table. It's like kind of like a medieval table, and on the
mm,
table, there's all this kinds of food and drink and everything you can think of. And there was all these people that were lined up, they were there eating. And then they had these like chains. They had these it's kind of almost like the African tribes that do it. So it's like these chains that go up and up and up, or like these rings. And so
mm,
they can't, it's like almost like having a halo on. You can't do this mobility. And then they had
mm,
things on their arms. So all of these things, so they couldn't bend their arms, and they couldn't move their necks. and they have
Mm.
all these food. And if you can imagine, like your neck can't move it and hands, imagine trying to grab something to drink, right? Like how much
Yeah.
get in, and you can put it over here, and then you can use your hand and then trying to
Right.
eat. And there was, I mean, all the kind of food you can ever imagine, which is great. And everybody was kind of fighting over food. People were so angry, they were so upset, and they couldn't do it, and it was just this chaos, and it was just like hell, you know what I mean? It was hell. So then
Mm.
he took them away and went into heaven. So basically went into like the window of the wooden window of heaven and looking through, and kind of to the little boy's surprise, it looked like the same exact table and had all the different food that everybody could ever imagine or ever wanted. And they also had the neck braces on, and they also had the arm braces on. But the
Mm.
difference between the heaven and hell, nobody was really trying to feed themselves because they couldn't. They just
Oh.
couldn't. So they took it like they grab a turkey leg and then maybe move it to the guy next, and this person's biting really, really good.
Wow.
And then or the person across from them, and this person wanted mashed potatoes. Hey, can you give me mashed potatoes? And then somebody else would take it. So much easier to serve the other
Wow.
person to be to
I didn't think
themselves.
of that.
And that story really stuck with me. It really stuck with me when I was a kid, and into this day, it's one of those like stories that just resonated to every fiber of my being, and even on Earth a lot. Yes, we need to do help ourselves, and we can bend our arms and move our neck. Okay, we should, but and we can't do things for us like other people can. Like we can't. I haven't met anybody who's completely built a car from themselves. And let me get further information with that. I'm talking about like mine whatever aluminum or metal or steel from the ground, and then pour it into a cast, and then like let me think of what else, like create the spark plugs and that they didn't buy, like actually create the spark plugs, and then create the wiring. Like where are you going to get the wiring from? Is it copper wiring, and then did you put the plastic around the wiring for it? I'm talking about creating a car from start to finish. I don't know if it's even possible. I don't know if anybody in history ever. I don't know if Henry Ford did it. So you need people to mine in the ground. You need people to get the copper over here. You need people to build, the electrical components over here, or this or this. So we
Yeah.
need people to do what we're here to do. We need our clients as coaches. Our clients need us. We need our mentors as coaches. Our mentors need us. Like we just need each other. And there's just kind of like two camps or two teams, a team up, and team destroy our team independence, and
Right.
kind of like heaven or hell. It's just, and it's so important to team up and so important to help each other out. Like again, it's about getting into the team and getting into an environment that really can accelerate each other. That's what it's all about. And it should be a win-win-win situation. Like again, if there's a coach who has a mentor, that's a win. And if a coach has a client that's in alignment, that's a win. But then like who does the clients impact if the
Right.
coach? Who does the coach impact if the coach has a mentor? You know what I mean? It
Mhm.
goes forward and forward. But that was a really amazing story that really resonated with me. And it's about really helping each other and lifting each other up. And we can't do everything ourselves.
That is really cool. Ecosystem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Ecosystem without an ecosystem. I guess ecosystem. Yeah, one's a lot better.
Right. Well said.
Absolutely. What message would you say to the person who's watching this right now, who is now in the situation you were before when you started working with me, working together, and receiving these gifts, and they are frustrated, they are stuck, they are feeling alone, and they're looking for a way out, for somebody to help
Yeah.
show them. What message would you say to them?
I would tell them my story. Actually, I'm gonna put back my glasses. I would tell them my story, which is I've invested in the last, let's say 4 years or 3 years. I've invested in 4 to 5 mentors, and Jeremiah is the most recent. And if you are really serious about being a life coach, not necessarily being an influencer, you can be an influencer, but if you're determined to be becoming the best version of yourself truly, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. Not just mentally, not just your habits, not just your muscles, not just your money. If you really want to master life from its essence to its furthest manifestation, this is the place where I found it. Yeah. And in my case, I was in a position financially where I couldn't really invest in anything, but I knew I'm gonna do it anyway because it was in my soul, it was in my spirit. Like I knew it at a deep level that I was gonna do this anyway. And I'd rather do it today than tomorrow, than next year, than next 3 months. I'd rather do it now, get the knowledge, get the access, connect with the people because people are contagious. And if you connect with someone that's higher vibration than you, you're gonna become higher vibration. It is just that's how it happens.
That's a great message. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. Is there anything else to share that's important to share that you just haven't mentioned yet?
Hmm. I think we've laid it all out.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it And if somebody is watching this and let's say wants to work with you, who's the best person that you're at, to the degree that you're at right now, and as much as you understand about your business and your mission, your life's purpose, your ideal client right now,
Yeah.
like who would be the best person to work with you, and how would you help them?
Yeah, that is really cool. Well, while I'm equipped to help many different people, I'm actually focusing this period of my life on helping people with massive social anxiety, people who want to express themselves with more confidence, with more command, people who struggle just being authentic when they're being in the world, whether it's verbally or even with their whole essence. I have a unique story where I discovered that I had tightness in my voice, in the muscles around my voice. And then when I discovered that, I also discovered that I'm not the only one. It's more common than people think. And I discovered that people suffer with social anxiety. They struggle with overthinking. They struggle with social awkwardness, relationships, and their relationships are held back, and their jobs, they're not getting better jobs, and they're moving slow in their career or towards their dream because of their voice. And the voice has two aspects, and it's physical, you open up the voice, but also it's emotional, which is the root cause of the voice being trapped in the first place. When we suppress emotions, actually we have chronic tightness in the muscles. So what I teach people and what I've literally helped over 20 people in the last couple of months achieve is to open up their voice and process the suppressed emotions that have caused their voice to be inhibited. And therefore, we can speak more confidently, easily, with more conviction. We can be happy and express it, and we can be frustrated and express it. We don't have to be caged in our body. Uh, yeah, so
You.
that's the kind of person that I can help most right now.
Awesome. Well, it's great meeting with you today, Haas. This was really informative, and I really appreciate you sharing from a little bit of your story. And I feel like it's going to help a lot of people help unlock what they need to hear, what they need to see to give them permission to actually invest in themselves, move forward, and actually do what they're here to do with their life and serve the people that they're meant to serve. So thank you very much. We're going to send a lot of blessings, as we always do, to your business and the people that you're meant to serve. And we're looking forward to doing another video for you soon, too, as well.
For
Awesome.
sure. Thank you, Jeremiah.
Yeah. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, it tells me a few things about you. Things like you have a deep calling from within to help people. I know that you are searching for the right system, the right program, the right community that has already achieved what you are wanting to achieve and who actually can help you become the purpose-driven coach you were born to be. I know that you've been doing your absolute best with what you know how to do. And I also know that you're aware that you don't know how to get to that next level on your own. I know that you weren't born to be an employee following rules somebody else made up for you. I know that the longer you stay doing what you do not love to do, it will suck the life out of your soul. I know that you follow your internal guidance. And if you're listening to my words right now, hearing from deep within to reach out and schedule a time to meet with either myself or Amanda to see if the Confident Coach Blueprint is right for you. You can find the link to our online scheduler in the comments below. And if you're ready to team up and learn the exact steps you must take in order to become a full-time successful life coach and have your life coach business permanently transformed, then schedule a time now to meet with me and we will interview to see if we're a great fit. Until the next time, stay blessed, keep the divine presence close, and shine brightly.